discover the incredible words of a young girl that revealed a hidden connection to a billionaire. In a town where dreams sometimes felt too heavy to carry, 10-year-old Lily spent her afternoons in her father's mechanic's shop, surrounded by the scent of motor oil and the clanking sounds of tools. Each day after school, she would race to the garage, her pigtails bouncing as she burst through the door, greeted by her father's warm smile. They would munch on sandwiches, often sharing stories over greasy lunch breaks, each tale spilling with laughter and love. In their little refuge, surrounded by dusty engines and rusting parts, the challenges of their life seemed a little less daunting. With every story Lily spun for her classmates, she could see their faces light up, their hearts aligning with her words. She spoke of family and community, of resilience and hope, painting vivid pictures of her neighborhood. Tales of grit resonated with her friends, binding them tighter together. They believed, just as she believed, that they held the power to shift the narrative of their lives if only someone would listen. Then the whispers began. Billionaire Oliver Grant was set to visit their little town, and Lily's heart raced at the thought. This was just another big shot looking to cash in. It was a chance to elevate her community, to finally bridge the gap between what was and what could be. With determination, she grabbed her favorite purple notebook and wrote him a letter, her heart spilling onto the pages. She poured out her family's struggles and the magic of unity, hoping to reveal the soul of their town. Before we continue, I need to let you in on something important that's happening. YouTube is changing things, and a lot of people are missing updates from channels they love. If you're enjoying the content, smash that bell icon and set it to all notifications so you don't miss out on what's next. And if you hit that like button, it helps me a lot. Seriously, it means the world. Oh, also let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious about who's on the other side of the screen. Now, let us get back to it. Her classmates rallied around her, each one envisioning a brighter future. But with hope came skepticism, and soon rumors swirled about Oliver's true intentions. Some whispered he was only after profits, a shadow of doubt creeping into their dreams. Differences within the town emerged, to the rich and the struggling, the hopeful and the despairing. It felt as if their fragile thread of trust was unraveling. But Lily refused to let go. Drawing on her gift for storytelling, she organized a town gathering, a tapestry of local anecdotes woven together with laughter and tears. Standing before her neighbors, she recounted their collective struggles and triumphs, her voice ringing clear as she challenged their fears about Oliver. She revealed that he, too, had once walked a path of hardship. Beneath his wealth was a heart that understood struggle. Yet, as the crowd listened, tension loomed in the air. Doubt still lingered. Was their shared vision a fleeting dream? As she felt the weight of uncertainty pull at her heart, Lily faced a crossroads. Was it possible for someone like Oliver, wrapped in fortune, to grasp the everyday battles faced by families like hers? With everything on the line, the narrative teetered at the edge of transformation. Would Oliver learn compassion, or would the invisible barriers between them prevail? The answers felt just out of reach, and Lily's journey had only just begun. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting an amber glow over the town, Lily felt the anticipation in the air. The gathering was set for the next day, and her heart pounded with both excitement and fear. She hadn't just shared stories. She had ignited a spark of hope. But would it be enough to draw Oliver Grant into their world? That night, as Lily lay in bed, she replayed her speech over and over in her mind. Did she say the right things? Were her words powerful enough to connect with him? With each tick of the clock, her doubts grew heavier. She stared at her ceiling, imagining it being a canvas where all her dreams painted themselves in vivid colors. In that moment, it hit her: a story was just a collection of words. It was a bridge that could unite hearts. If only Oliver would step onto that bridge. Morning arrived with a renewed sense of purpose. Lily dressed in her favorite blue dress, the one that made her feel like she could conquer the world. She pinned her letter to her heart, feeling its weight as she walked toward the community center, a mix of nerves and determination bubbling inside her. The center began to fill with townspeople, each face reflecting a blend of curiosity and skepticism. Fathers clasping their children's hands, mothers exchanging anxious glances, and the older generations quietly whispering amongst themselves. They had all come to hear what Oliver Grant would say, but here was Lily, standing at the forefront, ready to speak. As the clock struck 2, the crowd grew quiet. The doors opened, and Oliver stepped in. He was a tall man with sharp features, dressed in a tailored suit that seemed worlds away from the lives they led. A hush fell over the room as he surveyed the gathering. "Good afternoon," his voice boomed, confident yet calm. "Thank you for inviting me." The tension in the room felt palpable. People shifted in their seats, their eyes darting from Oliver to Lily and back again. He began to speak about business plans and growth, where profits would be reinvested into the community. Yet, while his ideas were grand, they lacked the warmth Lily craved to hear. She could see it written on her neighbors' faces. They nodded along, but skepticism still loomed like a thick fog, blocking the light of hope. Then, in a bold move, Lily stepped forward, her heart racing. "Mr. Grant, can I share something?" Oliver paused, surprise flickering across his face. The murmurs shifted to silence, eyes laser-focused on the young girl. He nodded, his expression softening. Taking a deep breath, she began. "I wrote you a letter." As she spoke, she recounted not just her dreams, but the very fabric of their community, the struggles, the insecurities, the laughter, and the love that stitched them together. With every word, she encapsulated their dreams, turning them into a living tapestry before the billionaire's eyes. The room held its breath, entranced by her sincerity. Lily could feel a glimmer of connection forming within those walls, the threads of doubt slowly unraveling. But just as hope began to bloom, she noticed Oliver's brow furrow as he pondered her message. Would he respond from the heart or retreat behind his business facade? In that electric moment, the crowd seemed to pulse with anticipation, hearts beat faster. Did she have the power to change the tide, not just for herself, but for everyone she loved? With the future of her town hanging in the balance, everything rested on a single answer. Did he understand their struggles, and would he extend a hand to pull them out of despair? As Oliver stepped closer, the silence thickened, each breath echoing with potential. The moment felt like an eternity, and all eyes were fixed on their unlikely connection. Would it be the dawn of change, or the suffocating weight of disillusionment? Lily held her breath, waiting for the verdict that could change everything. The silence shattered like glass when Oliver finally nodded. "Lily, thank you," he said softly, and in that moment, he seemed less like a stranger with sharp lines and more like someone they could reach. "Your words, they resonate. You're right, there's more to a community than just numbers and profits." A ripple of astonishment spread through the crowd. People glanced at one another, eyes wide. Lily's heart swelled. Could it be that easy? She hadn't just spoken. She had ignited something within him. Perhaps he could be the ally they had hoped for. "I think I've been living in a bubble," he admitted, raking a hand through his hair. "I come from a world where everything is measured by success and failure. But it's clear I've overlooked what really makes a community thrive." There was a pause, a moment where hope hung in the air like glittering confetti. The tension that had knotted itself tightly in Lily's chest began to loosen. "I want to listen," Oliver continued. "Tell me more about your community. About your dreams." Lily's pulse quickened. She launched into a fervent explanation of their struggles, the local businesses hanging on by threads, the youth leaving for better opportunities, the dreams pinned up on the walls of old town halls like forgotten postcards. Each story tumbled from her lips, alive with emotion and urgency. As the words flowed, she looked around the room. People were leaning forward, captivated. Even the older generations, who usually carried suspicion like a badge, were nodding. They saw him not just as a businessman, but as someone who might be willing to invest in their lives, not just their wallets. Oliver locked eyes with Lily. "I need to understand what will bring real change. What will truly help your town move forward." Every word of his felt like a step alongside her on that bridge she had envisioned. The community had never needed a savior. They needed someone willing to listen, to understand, to collaborate. Then came the question, "What would you have me do?" A charged silence enveloped the room. Lily felt the weighty eyes of everyone on her. Did she dare speak her dreams out loud, allowing them to flutter on the wings of hope? The words gathered at her throat, and she took a moment. The future was uncertain, but she sensed this was a pivotal moment. Taking a deep breath, she articulated her vision: a mentorship program for local children, support for small businesses, a plan to revitalize the town square where families could gather. She spoke of youth rallies, community festivals, shared stories that would begin to weave their lives into something brighter than the struggles they faced. Oliver listened, his gaze unwavering. Each proposal seemed to spark something within him, a flicker of excitement. "We can build this into something sustainable," he said, enthusiasm creeping into his voice. "I promise, I will bring my team in to explore these ideas with you." The room erupted into murmurs, some hopeful, some still cautious. Yet the fear had taken a back seat to a cautious optimism. In that moment, every single heart opened a little wider. But just when Lily thought the tide was turning in their favor, a voice broke through the waves of excitement. "What is in it for you, Mr. Grant? Why should we believe a billionaire will care about our stories?" The weight of the question fell heavily upon them. Oliver frowned slightly, glancing at Lily before addressing the crowd. "If I don't give back, what is the point of my success?" It was a simple thought, but one that soared into the minds of the townspeople like a beacon of light. Would he truly mean it? The doubt lingered, but so did the fire of possibility. Lily sensed that the moment was ripe for a leap of faith. "We just want to be seen, Mr. Grant. Help us show you what this town can be." Together. As Oliver stared at her, searching her eyes for truth, they both took a step toward the future. Would he take that leap with them? And as the weight of that question filled the air, Lily felt hope intertwining with uncertainty. Would this promise crystallize into reality for them? All? The answer lay ahead, waiting to unfold. The atmosphere inside the town hall shifted, as if a fresh breeze had swept through on a stifling summer day. Lily held her breath, eyes locked with Oliver's. The weight of the moment was palpable. She could almost hear hearts beating faster, breaths catching in throats. Oliver's brow furrowed as he took in the room, surveying expressions schooled in skepticism, but softening with curiosity. "I want to start by understanding," he said, his voice steady. "I want to know what you need beyond what I can offer financially." As he spoke, something shifted within the crowd. The wary tension eased just a bit, and a few small voices began to rise among the assembly. "What about our school's after-school programs?" An older woman called out, her gray hair shining against the dim lights. "They get cut every year, and the kids need somewhere to go." Another voice joined in, a younger man with a nervous smile. "And our farmers are struggling. We could use more support for our local markets." Lily felt each suggestion we threw her, wrapping her in warmth. This was more than a conversation. It was a lifeline thread, pulling the community together in a way she hadn't imagined. "Let us write them down," she explained, feeling her energy surge. "Every idea counts. We need to show Mr. Grant how we can make this town thrive together." Oliver watched her, a brief flicker of admiration crossing his face. "Let us do that," he replied, a hint of eagerness creeping into his tone. One by one, names and ideas erupted like fireworks amongst the crowd. Lily took mental notes as laughter and passion broke out around her. It felt like the vibrant heart of their town was beating again, the distant rhythms of hope tuning into something beautiful. But even as her heart soared, Lily couldn't ignore the gnawing sense of vulnerability that crept in. Would they be able to keep this momentum? And would Oliver really follow through? A sudden knock at the door cut through the whirlwind of excitement. Everyone turned, a collective hush falling over the room. It was Jeremy, one of the local farmers, looking harried. "Lily, you have to come quick," he shouted, a frantic urgency in his voice. Lily bolted to the front, her heart racing. "What is wrong?" He took a deep breath, eyes wide, filled with fear. "The last shipment of produce got spoiled. We're facing a huge loss, and I can't make ends meet this month." Panic clawed at Lily's chest. She'd seen Jeremy struggle, pouring everything into his farm for his family. "We just talked about accountability, but what if Oliver isn't able to come through for us, even after everything?" Doubt body slammed her mind, but she couldn't let it take root. "Maybe Oliver can help," she said, as much to herself as him. "Let us tell him what has happened." As she turned, gathered her courage, her eyes found Oliver's again. But instead of confidence, she noticed concern etched on his face. Would he step up? The stakes felt heavier than before. "What is the situation?" he asked, stepping closer to the gathering. Lily explained quickly, her heart hammering with every word. The room felt electric, a mix of hope and fear swirling around them all. "We have to support Jeremy. Any idea you have could make or break his business." Oliver looked at Jeremy, studying his face. "I need to see the farm," he declared with growing determination. "I'll come with you now." Lily's heart thudded in her chest. Perhaps Oliver really meant it. The room seemed to hold its collective breath as they moved to leave. As the trio exited the town hall, a whisper of hope clung to the air around them. But doubt still hovered, lingering like a shadow. Could this moment be the catalyst for a future they all dreamed of, or would it slip into another unfulfilled promise? Lily stole a glance back at the crowd still buzzing with energy, their eyes filled with hope. The path ahead was uncertain, but she felt a stirring in her gut. One way or another, they would either break down walls or build bridges. As they stepped into the sun, the warmth enveloped them. Would this journey lead them to the breakthrough they all needed, or merely to another dead end? One thing was for sure, they were not turning back now. The journey to Jeremy's farm was filled with a silence that weighed heavily yet pulsed with anticipation. Oliver walked beside Lily and Jeremy, his long strides reflecting a mixture of focus and unease. The fading sunlight cast long shadows against the backdrop of golden fields, each step taking them deeper into the heart of the community's struggle. Jeremy led the way, glancing back at Lily and Oliver. His once bright eyes now dimmed with worry. "I'm just afraid," he admitted, his words barely above a whisper. "I've put everything into this farm. If I lose it, it's not just me." His voice cracked at the unspoken implications of his loss, his family, his legacy tied to those acres of earth. Lily could feel the tension radiating from him. She reached out and touched his arm. "You're not alone in this. We're all in this together," she assured him. Her voice was steady, or at least she hoped it appeared that way. Inside, her stomach twisted with uncertainty. What if Oliver's help wasn't enough? What if this wasn't the moment they were all hoping for? As they arrived at the farm, the sight of the fields caught in mid-harvest struck a chord in her heart. Those rows of vegetables, once vibrant and hopeful, now looked dulled, the faint scent of the earth mingling with the bitter tang of loss. Jeremy's hands, so often weathered and strong, trembled slightly as he gestured over the produce that had perished. "This was all we had left," he gestured grimly, the hurt evident on his face. Oliver stepped closer, inspecting the damage. "What happened?" he asked, the businessman in him scanning for solutions. "A freak storm last week ruined the crop. We didn't see it coming, and without proper resources to safeguard against it, Jeremy's voice trailed off, and his expression hardened. It's going to take a miracle to recover from this. I can't ask my family to go through any more hardship. Lily's heart ached for him. The weight of his family's future felt enormous, and the thought of them struggling left a knot in her throat. Oliver can help, Jeremy. Just let him think about it. He was talking about infrastructure and support earlier, she encouraged, her voice stronger now. Oliver nodded, clearly engaged. We can find a way not just for you, but for everyone. If we organize together, we can push for better resources, better training, everything you need to keep this from happening again. Your farm can be a model for the rest of the community. As Jeremy met Oliver's steady gaze, hope flickered in his eyes. You really think so? He asked, the vulnerability in his voice palpable, hanging heavily in the air. I do, Oliver replied. Let us figure out a plan. But we can't do it just one-on-one. We need a coalition, a united front. Lily felt a surge of energy ripple through her. This was more than just a meeting. They were building something. The three of them could inspire others to join in the effort. What if we host a town hall meeting, but this time focus on the future? Let us open up the dialogue for everyone to share their struggles and solutions, she suggested excitedly. Exactly, Oliver agreed, a spark lighting up his eyes. We need expertise from all corners of this town. If we can pool our resources and knowledge, we'll be unstoppable. As they stood there, united by a single vision, the air felt charged with possibility. But as the sun began to set, casting an orange glow over the fields, Lily couldn't shake a sense of lingering doubt. Would the town rally behind them? Would they support each other like they once did? The three of them gradually made their way back toward the town, that initial spark growing brighter with each passing moment. Yet one question lingered in the back of Lily's mind. What if the very foundation of this newfound hope began to crumble under the weight of its own expectations? With the future hanging in the balance, they needed to act fast. Oliver's resolve was set, but could that be enough to motivate an entire town? Would they truly come together, or succumb to the challenges looming on the horizon? As the trio approached the town square, the vibrant heart of their community stood before them. The familiar sight, stalls selling baked goods, families gathering for an evening stroll, and a few old-timers stationed by the fountain brought a wave of nostalgia. But this time, as they stepped onto the cobblestone pathway, it felt different. There was a charge in the air, one tinged with urgency and a hint of desperation. Let us talk to everyone we can, Oliver suggested, his voice firm. The flicker of doubt in Lily's mind remained, but she felt it diminutive next to a newfound determination. Jeremy lingered a few paces behind, as if unsure of how to step into this moment where he'd feel both vulnerable and hopeful. What if they don't care? What if they don't believe in me in this? The vulnerability in his voice softened the atmosphere, casting a momentary shadow over their excitement. Lily turned to face him, feeling the weight of leadership settle upon her shoulders. If we don't try, we won't know. We owe it to ourselves and to everyone here to fight for what we believe in. You know your farm better than anyone. They respect you. The tension in Jeremy's expression eased a bit. He nodded, knowing she was right but still plagued by uncertainty. The sun dipped lower in the sky, its fiery hue reflecting the resolve building within them. As they reached the town hall, reality hit them. The dilapidated building stood as a reminder of the neglect that had settled over the community like dust. It might not be beautiful, but it housed their stories, their shared struggles. The light inside flickered, and it seemed to echo Jeremy's own hopeful yet anxious thoughts. Let's gather folks together, Oliver said. Set up a meeting for tomorrow. I'll take care of the logistics. We need people to believe there's a way out of this cycle. His steady gaze rallied both Jeremy and Lily, urging them to push past the uncertainty. The two agreed to split up, each heading in different directions to spread the word. The town was small, and news traveled fast. As they walked through the streets, the weight of their mission bore down heavier with each step. Lily spoke to anyone who would listen, friends, neighbors, even those who gathered at the diner for coffee. We need to talk about the future. Jeremy's farm isn't just its ours. If we don't stand together, we might lose everything, she declared passionately. Some faces lit up with hope, while others remained indifferent. What can we do? We're just folks with bills to pay, one man said, shaking his head. But Lily pressed on, recounting a story from her childhood, when the community had rallied to save the local theater. They'd come together back then, and they could again. Several families began to join her cause, whispering among themselves with rising enthusiasm. Just as she started to feel the tide turning, a voice rang out sharp and breaking. You think you can do all that? That he can save the farm? It's too late. It was an old neighbor, someone who held the past tightly in her grip. Lily paused, the harshness cutting through her. We can't afford to give up, she countered, her heart racing. If we stand back now, we'll be left with nothing. As the discussions continued, hope began mingling with fear. A few locals agreed to help out, wanting to share their resources and open their minds to a new path. Yet the naysayers still loomed, casting doubt that made her heart clutch painfully. Later, as night fell, they regrouped at the diner. Jeremy looked pale but resolute. I heard from a few who want in. But he hesitated. Tell me, Oliver urged. What if we can't do it? What if we fail? Jeremy's voice wavered, the burden of expectation heavy in his chest. Lily leaned in. They're willing to rally behind you, Jeremy. You just need to believe in them, believe in yourself. But deep down, she shared the fear of the unknown. If tomorrow didn't go as planned, what then? As dawn approached, they gathered their thoughts, hoping to ignite the spark of change in the community. Would they find the strength to overcome fear, or would the darkness swallow their dreams whole? The sense of dread was palpable. Tomorrow would show them all where they truly stood together, or torn apart. Would the town believe in their fight for hope, or would fear cast a long shadow over this pivotal moment? The sun peeked over the horizon, casting a warm glow across the town. Its light illuminated the weary faces of the trio as they gathered once more at the diner, their gathering spot and a haven of shared dreams. The clock ticked loudly, each second feeling like a countdown to their fate. Lily stared out the window, where the streets began to stir with life. People were out, walking their dogs, sipping coffee, and starting their day. But there was an undercurrent of tension. Yesterday's discussions had left uncertainty hanging over everyone like a low fog. What they did today could shape everything. Are you ready? Oliver's question broke through her thoughts, a hand resting gently on her shoulder. Jeremy appeared, running a hand through his hair anxiously. What if they turn us away? What if? His voice trailed off, burdened by the what-ifs that haunted him. Lily took a deep breath. We go in there showing them we believe in this. If we believe, maybe they will too. Confidence tinged her words, but her insides churned. She felt the weight of leading not just Jeremy, but an entire community. The trio made their way to the town hall. The old building stood defiant, its peeling paint telling stories of better days. Oliver pushed the doors open, and the smell of old wood and dust greeted them like an unwelcome guest. Inside, they set up a few foldable chairs in a circle. The room felt empty, but with each passing minute, more of the townsfolk trickled in. The chatter grew as familiar faces began to fill the seats, but Lily could see the skepticism around her. Thank you all for coming, she said, her voice shaky at first but growing steadier as she continued. We have something important to discuss, our future. Oliver chimed in, leaning forward. We need to talk about Jeremy's farm. This isn't just about a piece of land. It's about our community, our heritage. If we want to see it thrive, we need to come together now. He met each hesitant gaze. A challenge in his eyes. A murmur swept through the crowd, some nodding, while others crossed their arms, holding tight to doubt. Then, an unexpected voice rose from the back. A young girl, maybe 9 or 10, with messy braids and bright blue eyes. What if we can use the farm to grow food for everyone? Like a community garden? I heard that once, and it sounded cool. The stir of unease quieted momentarily as people turned to her, surprised by her boldness. A soft chuckle escaped Jeremy, easing some tension. Lily caught his eye, realizing how quickly hope could spark from an unexpected source. Exactly. We can come together, combine our strengths, and create something beautiful. The mood shifted, bodies leaning forward, the barriers slowly crumbling. Conversation sparked, ideas brewing like fresh coffee. Jeremy shared his vision, boosted now by the girl's unexpected enthusiasm. But what about the doubts? The whispers of too late still lingered, infusing hesitance among some. What if one man started, but the girl interrupted? What if we try? Her voice rang out, innocent yet mighty. Just because it's hard doesn't mean we shouldn't. That struck a chord. Laughter bubbled, dissipating fractures in the room. People began to share their own stories, whispers turning into discussions. While voices blended in excitement, something in the air shifted again. Just then, a familiar face pushed through the doors. Mr. Turner, a wealthy landowner, known for his stern demeanor. He strode up, the discussion momentarily freezing. Is there a problem here? His words hung heavy as the room fell silent. Lily's heart raced, a million thoughts swirling. Would he stifle their spark, or would he become an ally in their fight? As the tension created a thick wall between them, she stepped forward, determination fueling her voice. We're talking about the future of this town, Mr. Turner. We have a vision, and it's time for a change. The eyes of the townsfolk lit with hope, leaning in to see how he would respond. Would this be the turning point, or yet another roadblock? As Lily waited, the silence stretched on, building. Anticipation. What would Mr. Turner say? Would he shut them down, or embrace the challenge of uplifting their community? And as the moment hung in the air, it felt like everything rested on the edge of a knife. Mr. Turner's eyes narrowed, glancing between Lily and the eager townsfolk. The weight of expectation bore down on them, a collective breath held tight in their chests. Change, he started, his voice low yet resonant, echoing through the stillness. Change can bring opportunity, but it also brings chaos. Lily felt a knot in her stomach. She knew all too well the power of those words. They could build up dreams or tear them down. She was ready to let them shatter the hopes of those gathered. Mr. Turner, chaos is what we have now, she said, grounding her voice in certainty. Our town is crumbling. Families are losing their homes. A community garden could bring us together and provide fresh food, not just for our families, but for everyone in need. Isn't that worth pursuing? For a moment, silence reigned again. She saw his brow furrow, caught between skepticism and perhaps a flicker of interest. One of the older gentlemen, a farmer who had watched the land transform over the years, spoke up. We've been waiting for someone to step up, Mr. Turner. We need someone with vision, a way out of this spiral. It's about feeding our families, yes, but it's about feeding our souls too. The crowd nodded collectively, murmuring agreement. There was a restrained power in their voices. And what do you offer? Mr. Turner's gaze shifted to Jeremy, his tone assessing. A little patch of land, one to sustain this town's needs forever. With that, Jeremy gathered his resolve. No, but it could be the start of something bigger. We could use our skills to create more than just a garden, something sustainable. A farmer's market, workshops, and perhaps even a place for gatherings, for the community to unite. Mr. Turner's expression remained impassive, though a hint of curiosity flickered across his face. "I like that vision," the young girl with the messy braids piped up, her eyes sparkling. "We could have a festival with games and food and everything. Everyone would want to come." Lily felt a warm smile spread across her face. The spirit of community was alive in these ideas, each one a thread weaving their futures together. "Do you understand what that truly means?" Mr. Turner's voice softened slightly. "You'd have to consider the costs, the land, and the resources. Not to mention the potential resistance from folks who don't share your vision." Lily's heart raced. This was the moment where everything hinged. "We understand the challenges, but we're also willing to work, to partner with you. Together, we can transform this place. Your support can help ignite a spark of hope for everyone here." Mr. Turner crossed his arms, measuring his options. It was a brave thing, this leap of faith they were asking him to take. But she could see the wheels turning behind his stoic demeanor, hints of his softer side peeking through as he pondered their plight. Slowly, he uncrossed his arms. "Then let us put a plan together," he finally said, his voice steady, firm. "But know this, if you fail, it won't just be on your shoulders. It will be on mine too." Waves of relief washed over the group, applause erupting, fueled by shared hope and newfound possibility. The doubt started to melt away, replaced by laughter and chatter. A vision was taking root, but amidst the celebration, Lily caught Oliver's eye, a subtle concern etched on his face. It didn't go unnoticed by Jeremy either. "What is it?" she asked, her voice dropping. I have a feeling this isn't over yet," he said quietly. "Mr. Turner might be on board, but he has not one to back down easily if things start looking rocky." Lily nodded, feeling the weight of their fragile agreement. They had taken a step forward, but the road ahead was still uncertain. What if the plans didn't go as they hoped? What if their trust in Mr. Turner was misplaced? As they left the town hall, the sun now fully overhead, casting vibrant colors around them, Lily felt a flicker of optimism blossom, yet shadowed by unease. Would they be able to hold their visions together when faced with real-world challenges ahead? That thought lingered in her mind. What trials awaited them just around the corner, ready to test the very fabric of their fragile dreams? As the crowd dispersed, laughter and chatter buzzed in the air like the hum of distant bees. However, Lily couldn't shake the tightness in her chest. The sun beat down on her, but a chill ran through her bones. She looked back at Mr. Turner, who stood watching them depart, his silhouette sharpened against the bright midday sky. A man of few words, but today felt different. Had a seed been planted in him, too? "Let us head to the cafe," Jeremy suggested, nudging her gently. "We need to celebrate, right?" "Sure," Lily replied, though her heart wasn't in it. They walked silently for a moment, the weight of their discussion still hanging heavily in the air. Inside the cafe, the familiar aroma of freshly brewed coffee mingled with the sweet scent of pastries. Jeremy and Lily found a small table by the window. Sunbeams poured in, illuminating the dust motes dancing in the air. As they took their seats, Oliver slid into the chair across from them, his brow still furrowed. "What now?" he asked, his voice low. "We've got Mr. Turner on board, kind of," Jeremy said, a hint of pride creeping into his tone. "Kind of? What does that mean?" Oliver leaned forward, fingers tapping impatiently on the table. "It means we have a chance at least," Lily said, her voice stronger than she felt. "A chance to start making changes. We just need to keep working at it." A brief moment of silence fell over them, until Oliver's frown deepened. "You think he won't pull away if things get tough?" "We're all in this together, but you know it's still a risk." Lily nodded slowly. "I know. But don't you feel the energy? People are starting to believe again." Just then, the young girl with the messy braids dashed in, her eyes wide with excitement. She clutched a crumpled piece of paper in her little hands. Lily. Jeremy. I have something. The trio turned to her, curious. What is it, Anna? Lily asked, her heart lifting at the girl's enthusiasm. I wrote a letter. To Mr. Turner, she explained, practically bouncing in place. I told him why a community garden is so important. Not just for food, but for us, for everyone to be together again. Lily's heart swelled. That is amazing, Anna. What did you say? Anna's face lit up. I said that gardens grow flowers too, and flowers are pretty. They make people happy. Everyone should be happy. In that moment, it struck Lily Anna's words were filled with the simple truth they desperately needed to hear. But Oliver's expression shifted to one of concern. What if he doesn't see it that way? What if it just seems like a childish dream to him? Maybe it is, Lily replied, her voice steady, but it's also a glimpse of something bigger. Sometimes, the simplest ideas can spark the best things. Anna nodded excitedly, her passion infectious. I'm gonna read it to everyone at the next town meeting. It's gonna be great. As she zoomed away, Lily couldn't shake the feeling that this little girl, with her unfiltered joy and sincerity, was the very heart of their vision. What if Anna was right? What if all it took was for someone to see things differently? Suddenly, Jeremy's phone buzzed, breaking through the thoughtful silence. He pulled it out, eyes widening. Guys, it's Mr. Turner. He wants to meet us again tonight at his place. Lily's heart raced, the thrill of possibility swirling with dread. What did he really want? What secrets might unfold in that meeting? Should we go? Oliver's eyes danced with urgency as he glanced between them, anticipation crackling in the air. Lily took a deep breath, her mind battling the chaos of uncertainties. We should, but we need to be prepared, she said, her determination hardening. As they stood, ready to face the next challenge, Lily felt an electric charge of hope flicker within her. Tonight could change everything, for better or worse. What unforeseen revelations awaited them in Mr. Turner's home, waiting to be uncovered? As the day turned into evening, tension wrapped around Lily like a cloak. She could feel it in the pit of her stomach as they approached Mr. Turner's estate. The house loomed large, a fortress of dreams and doubt. What awaited them behind those doors? They stepped inside, greeted by the warm glow of lights that illuminated a cozy sitting room. Mr. Turner stood by a large window, looking out at the sky slowly darkening with streaks of orange and purple. The atmosphere crackled with unspoken words. Thank you for coming, he said without turning around, his voice steady. Lily's heart raced. Of course, Oliver replied. We appreciate the opportunity. Lily noticed the tension in Oliver's shoulders. They were all aware that this moment could tip in any direction. Mr. Turner turned to face them, his expression thoughtful. I've given this a lot of consideration, he started, and Lily could feel everyone's breaths hold tight in anticipation. There's a chance to invest, but with it comes responsibility. Success won't just fall into our laps. Lily swallowed hard, her palms damp with sweat. We're willing to work hard, sir. We want this for our community together. He raised an eyebrow, a subtle wave of interest flashing across his features. It's not just about the community garden. It's about surrounding them with opportunities. What do the youth need? What do your parents need? The spark of ideas began to combust in Lily's mind. Mentorship programs, job training, and after-school activities, she said, feeling her resolve solidify. We want to ensure that everyone has a chance to grow, just like those flowers in a garden. Exactly, Jeremy chimed in, his voice steadying. It's a long process, but we can start small and grow larger as we gain momentum. Mr. Turner nodded, his face unreadable. And what if it fails? I've been in business too long to ignore the potential of loss. It'd be my reputation at stake too, should this crash. Lily felt the tension rise again. shadows creeping back in. But if it works, the impact would be profound, she urged, searching for the right words. Our community could thrive. We could set a blueprint for others to follow. You'd be remembered as the one who believed in us. Mr. Turner studied her, the room steeped in silence. Then, without a word, he walked to a whiteboard that adorned one corner of the room and began writing down ideas, his pen moving swiftly as he jotted down everything they discussed. Encouragement surged through Lily. They weren't just talking anymore. They were crafting a plan. They brainstormed under Mr. Turner's keen eye, listing resources needed, possible partnerships, and steps to reach the community. No numbers yet, Mr. Turner said finally, but if we can band together, I'll help you arrange a pilot project for the garden and mentorship program. Community involvement is key. You'll need to rally support. Lily couldn't help but beam at the prospect of their dreams turning into reality. We can organize meetings, share information, and foster excitement. We need to create a movement. Just then, they heard a gentle knock on the door. Anna peered in, her face beaming with innocent joy. I'm here to share my letter. Without waiting for an invitation, she charged into the room, clutching her handwritten treasure. Anna, now's not really the time, Lily started, but then she saw the spark in Anna's eyes, the purity of her hope burning brightly. She read her letter aloud, her youthful enthusiasm lighting up every shadowed corner. Everyone should be happy, she proclaimed, and the words flowed like sunlight, welcoming and warm. As the last words hung in the air, Lily glanced at Mr. Turner. A subtle shift occurred in his demeanor. A flicker of warmth crept into his gaze. He genuinely smiled, as the weight of doubt began to lift. He glanced at the trio, whose hearts were beating within the same rhythm, then back at Anna. Well, maybe we can make some people happy, he said with a nod, and the room erupted into laughter, breaking the tension. Lily felt like she was floating. The glittering threads of their dreams began to weave together stronger than ever. Days turned into weeks as they set their plans in motion. They held meetings that swelled with townsfolk eager to grasp at hope. Anna became a symbol of their passion, her youthful excitement captivating hearts, stoking their ambitions. The garden flourished, supported by the community's growing spirit. It became a gathering ground filled with laughter. People shared stories like seeds, nurturing bonds and building trust. One sunny afternoon, Lily stood among rows of flowers bursting with color. Families walked by, embracing each other, while the old diner buzzed with life. The heart of the town pulsed once more. Look at this, Oliver said, joining her side, a genuine smile washing over his features. Lily beamed back, her heart full. We did this together. As sunlight cast a warm glow over them, she realized the dreams they once carried so heavily were now woven into something beautiful and lasting. Their journey hadn't just changed the town, it had transformed them all. And in that moment, Lily felt the undeniable truth blossoming within her: a story can indeed change lives, but only when hands join together to nurture it. If you're inspired by stories like this, you need to subscribe now. This is the moment to show your support for more incredible transformations. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm and help us spread the message. Comment below about your feelings on this journey, and share instantly this video with at least 5 friends who need to witness the power of community and hope. Don't wait not even one more second to share your part of this story now.